and welcome to the 707 show. And I am Moira Bush.
And I'm Zara Ali.
And tonight our topic is soul medicine. Right. So if you feel like you could do with a dose of soul medicine, we hope you're tuning in. And if you enjoy the show, we hope that you share. Very important to share, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, okay. So we've had a couple of episodes now that you're the fourth co-host that we've had here. We had Shannon talk about coming out the spiritual closet.
That was a good one.
That was a good.
I
She's very
really
natural on
enjoyed
camera,
that.
isn't she?
Yes, she's so beautiful.
Yeah. And then our second show, we had the blue haired medium.
Yes, another amazing beauty.
Yeah, she did an impromptu micro psychic readings. That was all about psychic reading and psychic.
Oh, I
children.
couldn't type me fast enough for her.
She'll be back. You'll have to enter the competition again. And then last week we had Sarah de Felice, and we spoke about stars on the red carpet and then aliens, star people from other planets. That was a bit weird and wacky, that one.
Yeah.
And so tonight's show, we thought we would talk a little bit about something that's very close to my heart and to your heart, and that is mental health. And can soul medicine or spiritual work, spiritual teaching, spiritual practice actually help with mental health? So we've actually asked people to join in, and we hope you will, because your comments will be shown live on the screen here, and you can ask questions or give us your testimonials.
Yeah, please share with us your experiences, if you've had any, on how you've dealt with maybe some mental health issues, anxiety, depression, any of those sort of big...
The big M stuff, mind
stuff.
M
stuff out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I actually did a little bit of research, and we've got a couple of notes to share with you here. And first of all, I just did it because I live in Canada now, and I know I have a global audience that tunes into the shows that we do, you and I do. But I wanted to just look at Canada and the statistics, and we looked at this with Canada Health, and it says 1 in 5 Canadians suffer from mental health issues.
I couldn't believe those numbers.
1 in 5, eh?
Wow.
And anxiety is the top disorder that includes post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, phobias, and obsessive compulsive disorder. So anxiety is number 1.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of amazing. I was actually diagnosed with anxiety probably mid-teens, and then again later on after I had the girls. And back then there wasn't any, that I knew of anyways, there wasn't any alternatives besides just going to medicine as a therapy tool. And now, knowing what I do now, there's so many other alternatives that are out there that I think in combination would be very helpful.
And part of why we do a show like this is coming out the spiritual closet, sharing our experiences, giving testimony to what worked for us and what didn't work for us. Oh, there, Catherine Book says she's on.
Hi, Catherine.
Oh, hello, Catherine. Lovely. It's lovely that you're joining us. Thank you so much. Share it and invite your friends to watch this show, where we're talking about mental health and soul medicine tonight. I think... What treatment did you get for anxiety?
Well, they had me on... It was when I was mid-teens. Yeah, they had I think it was lorazepam, and it was just to put under my tongue anytime I was feeling the anxiety.
Yeah.
And later on, with the girls, they'd also put me on some antidepressants. The thing with that is, all it does is just mask everything that you're feeling. And that's how I felt when I was on it. You didn't feel anything.
And when you came off it?
You feel everything. Like whatever you were trying to suppress, whatever I was trying to suppress over the years that I was taking this, it didn't go anywhere.
So medication,
it was still there.
Medication was not what didn't work for you.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
And luckily for myself, I was able to come off of it, and I found other spiritual modules that could help me and have, I do live a normal life right now without any medicine. I hope I'm normal. Normal is overrated a little bit, but for the most part, and I'm not taking any medicine. But I have found that there are spiritual ways out there that have helped me and helped me cope when I do need to feel whatever it is that's happening in the moment. Because there are times in your life where you're not always going to be super happy and cheery, and that's okay. And it's okay to feel whatever it is we're feeling. It's okay to have
feelings. I mean, I think that's the root cause of a lot of mental health issues, is that anxiety to be able to deal with feelings. And especially if you're sensitive and vulnerable. Catherine Jujak's joined us. Christine Casey's watching. Hello, darlings. Thank you for joining the show. Right.
The second stat that really got me was that 10 people a day commit suicide in Canada. And those numbers are very scary if people are dealing with
10 people a day.
10 people a day.
And I think I also read in the stats that 3 of them are in the state that we live in, Ontario.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is because of depression, because after anxiety, depression is the next big mental health issue.
Yes.
Yeah. And what was also interesting is that men commit suicide at a rate 3 times that of women.
Wow. Well, I guess also in our society, more recently it's become more acceptable for people to express how they're feeling. And I think maybe growing up, where I grew up in my culture especially, men aren't really allowed to express how they feel. And as much as it's not okay for women, it's still more acceptable for women to be able to express how they're feeling versus males. So I can see how that would be related to that.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. And the age group 40 to 59, that seems to be the highest, the age where people commit suicide the most, is between the age of 40 and 59. I would guess by the age of 40 you were so beaten down by life, and you would, if you've tried all sorts of medications and systems and they have failed you in some way, or how you haven't been able to respond to them, you to that point in your life you kind of want to just give up.
No, I was one of the lucky ones that came across spiritual modules to be able to help myself, because I did get to a point where I didn't know, I was off the medicine, but I didn't have anything else to kind of put in there. So I was sort of still in a depressive state until I found things that could help me feel better.
Well, we need to get you married, because the other statistic that I read today under Canada Health was that married people are less likely to commit suicide.
Well, we got someone watching out for you.
Marriage is a deterrent to suicide. It helps you when you're with somebody.
Really?
You even if a relationship isn't very good, you're still with somebody. There's somebody that's looking out for you, that's in your life. You don't feel alone, so you don't tend to get depressed as quickly and have suicidal thoughts, because there's somebody there. So it tends to happen it's mostly single people. People feel alone, isolated. There's no intimacy. No one's touching them. And the depression overwhelms them, and that's how the suicide happens.
I was recently reading articles about how much physical touch can help. Just a simple hug, a smile from someone, it can totally change someone's day.
One of the things I love about the Hindu tradition, by the way, is when babies are born, they massage their babies with oil, and it's a daily practice, and I love that, because that's constantly just affirming this child being touched and loved through massage. I think that's
I used to do that with Sienna every day.
Yeah.
After bath time, she always got a nice rub down. She's still kind of spoiled and loves it.
There you go. Well, I think modern or alternative medicine, or both, that's the question. I wonder if there is something, if there's space in modern medicine that will allow these complementary and alternative therapies to start merging, and because there's value in this, because I know in the practice that I run, in the business I've been in for a long time with this alternative spiritual work, it does work, it does help people.
Yes.
And I think it's time that modern medicine and alternative medicine begins to merge. It's not an either or an or. I think we need to see value in both.
Definitely, I would have to agree. Some people do need that help, and it's okay to get that help when you need it. But I do believe you still need to deal with the problem at hand.
Yeah.
And by just dealing with the medicine part of it, you're not maybe dealing with the problem at hand. And
because it's a mask, and
you're just avoiding it.
You don't deal with your issues.
So if we could do a little bit of both, it would be perfect.
And I don't think everybody wants to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist and talk about their problems either. So I think finding a community that relates to you, that understands you, is important. And it's certainly why we created the 707 group and show. It's to give us a platform to talk safely about things that might be weird.
I wish these kind of things were available to me when I was younger. I would have appreciated a lot more at that time, but I don't believe there was anything, or maybe I just wasn't involved in the right communities at the time to have this sort of support. And I'm so lucky to have that now with my spiritual family.
There was somebody who did say, because when we started the 707 show, we asked for people to give us topics, what would they like us to discuss on the show. One of the suggestions, I've just remembered now, one of the suggestions was made by somebody who said, sometimes what seems like a mental breakdown is symbolic of a spiritual awakening.
Yes. I have read so many articles about how symptoms from spiritual awakenings can be misdiagnosed as mental illnesses. So if we were maybe living in a different part of the world, our mental illness or mental issues may have get looked at as a totally different spiritual awakening. And I think we don't have an understanding of as much over here of what people are going through and dealing with. And a lot of people are likely getting misdiagnosed as having a mental illness when they might just be going through a spiritual awakening.
Yeah. If you've ever had a spiritual awakening and thought you were going mad or insane or losing your mental power, or somebody who's been through it, please write in and let us know. We'd like to know whether that happened to you. Catherine says bringing in the balance to a healthy being. Yeah, definitely the medicine, alternative medicine. And Catherine Bork's telling you're amazing, Zara.
Thank you, Catherine.
You just got a shout out. Blood kisses. Oh, lovely. And then Catherine Jujak says, absolutely, I deal with that on a regular basis. People who feel they are losing it and they are perfectly fine. Yeah, and honestly, I know I've come across that in my practice as well, Catherine, where somebody will come to me and they'll say, I'm not sleeping, I'm full of anxiety, I'm feeling stressful, I'm overwhelmed with feelings I can't deal with. And very often that's a crisis, a spiritual crisis point that their soul has pushed them to.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this is where soul medicine comes in. It's if you were to look through the filter of spirituality, of any belief, and it could be anything. It could be color therapy, sound therapy, it could be anything, it could be meditation, and begin to see your experience through that. Then you're not just dealing with the symptom, you're dealing with the cause.
Yes.
You're dealing with the why it happens, because that's an intelligent question. Why is this happening to me? I don't think you get answers from your soul until you ask that intelligent question, why? Not what can I do about it, what medicine can I take, what action steps can I take? It's why is this happening to me? That's a soul question. So when people start asking why, that's when I know they're ready to hear the truth. They're ready to hear what it is they need to face.
Well, generally, I believe that when we have a crisis in our life, it is to awaken us to something different. It is to get us to maybe reset where we are in life and question things a little bit more. And I think maybe that's why, well, for myself, I tended to go into a more depressive state because a lot of things that I was dealing with, I didn't feel comfortable talking to the people around me because they wouldn't understand what I was going through. And, taking intro to psych in year 1 of university, you knew what not to say to people because you were going to probably get admitted and locked up somewhere.
Yeah.
So those are kind of things that, you would be scared to share your experiences of what you were going through unless if you felt comfortable and safe. And where to go.
I really want to give a shout out here to the urban Buddhist monk Bhante Saranapala. He was the guest on the Magenta show, and he is an amazing forerunner in the field of mental health. A Buddhist monk, but he did the Canada Kindful Symposium on Sunday, and I was very fortunate to exhibit my products, the Color Mirrors products that I work with at this event, and to listen to some of the keynote speakers. And on stage, 2 testimonials went up to talk about Bhante's work with them, and they were both suicidal cases. They were at the end of their tether, and they fell literally into the temple that Bhante runs in Mississauga, and Bhante taught them meditation and counseled them and worked with them, and they went up on stage at this event and they said, Bhante saved my life. So there was the techniques of meditation and mind discipline practice through mindful meditation that has turned these two men's lives around. And the one particular young man, he used to be a psychologist. He used to actually work in medicine, and with the meditation, it opened up and unearthed his creativity, it unlocked the true him. So if that isn't a soul calling and a soul awakening, then I don't know what is. Literally moving from medicine to art. It's a massive shift.
That's amazing. I know for myself, I do like to listen to meditative music before I go to bed or first thing in the morning, just to sort of get you started and to end your day in a positive note. Yeah, I really enjoy like either chakra balancing music or any type of meditative music. Try to change it up every once in a while.
Are you passing this practice down to your children?
Well, because they're getting to the teenage years, so they're a little bit more resistant to it.
Mom's weird, right?
Yes, mom's weird and wacky.
But so if you practice any soul medicine out there, it's okay. We understand if your children don't, because you just go through a stage of weird.
I'm hoping they're still getting the music through the doors, right? They can still work on them if I'm playing in my room.
Oh, fabulous. Okay. Michael, somebody's here. Just scroll up for us. Just want to ask our producer. There's somebody here about, Catherine said, I personally went through this thinking I was losing my mind. My first recollection of wanting to end my life was at 6 years old. And it's that feeling different, not fitting in and just wanting to get off the planet. It's so radical.
Yeah, because nothing makes sense.
Nothing makes sense, yeah. I actually had a lady called Cheryl Evans. One of the posts that I alerted them to the show tonight, I think it was called Lightworkers Live, and a lady called Cheryl Evans she put a really, really long story in, so I'm just going to give you the nitty-gritty of it. And Cheryl, thank you for telling us your story. It's quite profound, really. I gather she lives here in the UK, and she had a stroke, and literally a stroke and a heart attack 8 years ago, she says, and the doctors said to her, that's it, going into a home, you need 24/7 care, there's no hope for you. And she decided she was not going to listen to them. She was not going to listen to them. And she decided that she was going to ask God for help. So she asked God, she says, well, what am I meant to do with my life? How am I meant to fix this? How am I meant to change this? And she said she got this image of fingers tapping a face. So her son came home and the son said, well, Google it, find out what's this tapping face. And that's how she stumbled upon EFT. Wow. And within months, she was a trained practitioner and she's ready to go back to work.
That is amazing. So we always get our answers from the universe if we're just paying attention.
Yeah.
And I went through a similar thing when I put out there in the universe for just something to be able to help me from where I was at. And I was lucky enough to get color and the spiritual teachings come into my life at that time to help me get through.
Yeah, wow. Okay, Renee says, being in the mental health or mental wellness industry, having studied with 2 master degrees in clinical, one of the things that always bothered me was the fact that we initially have to label people for insurance purposes, and the labels can be, see more, helpful, but they can be extremely destructive at times. It would be nice if we could meet with people and discuss things, talk. Oh man, that connection. In the health, they're not allowed to say, hey, I'm sorry, darling, and I love you, and can I help you? Here's a form, here's a tick box, here's a label. Oh my goodness.
Yes, answer the questions, and where do you fit in here?
Yeah. So this kind of why I've transitioned into a more holistic, now in my practice and in my feelings and in my way of looking at things. When I deal with people with disability difference or uniqueness, I want to help them celebrate who they are. Hallelujah. A shout out to you. You're just amazing, because we're taught that if we are different and don't fit in the box, that there's something wrong with us.
No, it just means we're special and amazing.
You're special.
We're all special.
I'm special. We're weird, but we're special. We don't fit into a box. Thank you, Lord, that we don't. Right. You need to ask your families, your friends, not only should we celebrate our lives, but we need to be responsible about moving forward economically, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Yes, exactly. So I use Siri to dictate because visual disability, she never gets it right and it always sounds weird, but hopefully you'll understand the bulk of my message. Oh, sweetheart, yes, we do. Thank you so much. And thank you, Siri, the technology.
Yes.
Yes, it is absolutely that. We are, it doesn't mean that you have a disability, that you are disabled. It's not, it just means that the way that you're going to work with life, you require different soul medicine. And the best soul medicine is love.
Of course.
Love,
There's nothing
love is
greater
the
than love.
strongest soul medicine, isn't it? I saw my hubby Paul is watching, and he definitely is, and has taught me about love, and our children teaches us about love.
Yes, and it's so amazing well, my two little girls, I absolutely love and adore them, and I can't ask for anything more than just them loving me and me loving them.
I remember that event we went to at the, what was that home? Carafa or something. I have to remember the name of it, but we did this community volunteer project that you organized, and we went in, and it was a home for the elderly, and most of them had dementia. And it was shocking that, and I looked at them, and they were vibrant, physically still vibrant, but their minds had gone.
Yeah, totally able-bodied and could have been able to function out in the real world environment if it wasn't for their minds. And why do you think people end up with dementia and choose to kind of give up their memory or lose their power of their mind?
Well, this is a really deep spiritual answer to that. This is something that I've learned through from my spiritual mentor Melissa Jolly, and from her teachings, and it's it's something that really resonates with me, and that is, sometimes we choose to have a life, an incarnation, an experience where we lose the power of our mind. Some people choose to incarnate and experience losing the power of their finances. Some people may incarnate and choose to lose the power of of love. We have various things that we experiment with in our lives. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so we have different lifetimes where we want to come and experience different, just different differences. So what's it like, God, what's it like going to the planet and to not have a mind to think clearly? What's it like to go to the planet and not have a body that functions, or maybe eyes that don't work, or not to have limbs? We play with our power in that way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I think that sometimes we just say, let me go to the planet and feel what it's like to lose the power of my mind and become dependent on other people's love to support me. And then there'll be the person who incarnated and said, well, let me see if I can practice unconditional love. And when we went to that event, that the nurses and the care staff,
they were so
unconditional
amazing.
love. And so it gave them an opportunity to practice unconditional love. So I think it's that's my
Alyssa was talking about
anyway.
it to me actually a couple of nights ago. She was like, when are we going back? She wants to go and hang out with the ladies and do some crochet work, so maybe we'll be doing that soon.
She was just lovely. She was so gentle with them.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you're a good mum. Girls, mum's good. Nothing too weird about mum. She's actually quite nice. Let's have a look what Renee said. Thank you for the understanding and support. Letting you know my book will be published. Nothing like being self-serving, is it? But anyway, I'm also going to start a YouTube channel. Good. There's no stopping you, Renee, obviously. You've got so much going on here. Yes. And again, I think this is important. What Renee's doing, publishing a book and using and not letting her vision or not having vision stop her from participating, and you turning up, being a co-host and starting a new line of work, and speaking to people about what you believe spiritually and your experience. And I think shows like this and the kind of products that Renee's going to come up with is so important. And then of course, what Bante did on Sunday was phenomenal. I'd actually never been to an event like that ever in my life. You go to business events and people are trying to sell you something. People are trying to convince you that they're great and they want business, they want to make connections, and And I have to say, at Bante's event on Sunday, it was all love. The whole place just vibrated with love. I came out there on such a high. Everybody just wanted to help each other. Everybody just wanted to serve. Everybody was just talking about healing and health. And to me, Sunday at Bante's event was all about soul medicine. So I think the other thing is create products like this, like the 707 show, create books, run events like Bante did, where people can come together and celebrate being different. That's normal.
Getting involved with communities that are like-minded in that sense. Once I found my spiritual family, it made a world of difference for me, because I could come and get reloaded on my love every time.
Soul medicine reloaded on love.
Yeah, reload on love.
Yes. So we want to end the show with a very special message, and that is that soul medicine is love.
Yes.
Soul medicine is community. And I think if you believe that you are different and that perhaps you've been thinking you're going weird and wacky, it might just be you waking up to your own kind of soul medicine. Yeah.
Yes.
So we want to say thank you. Christine says, I can really relate to this topic. I love soul medicine of unconditional love. Yeah. And Carol was actually at Bante's event. That's wonderful. And Catherine, love. So just thank you guys for tuning in. And for those of you who are watching the replay, share. This is how we get the message out there. Please share it in groups. We're not selling anything, so groups tend to not mind our show being broadcast, because we're educating, we're sharing, we're loving, we're being kind. And invite your friends to join the 707 group, the 707 show. It's a group on Facebook. And we can carry on the conversation after the show during the week and help you. All right. So I think that's us, girl. Next week we've got... That was
pretty quick.
Yeah, next week we've got Regina.
Wow. She's an amazing lady as well. Yeah. Beautiful soul.
Beautiful soul. So we're looking forward to having Regina Neal as a co-host next week on the 707 show. Thank you, girl.
Thank you.
You did good. Thank you for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.